Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I am Tony Gerdeman, here as always with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Tony, it is the show that we love to hate, everyone else loves to hate, everyone hates to love. It is bold predictions time, and boy, with all the changes in college football and the way that points are at a little bit more of a premium and possessions are at more of a premium, this show just kind of gets harder and harder to do every week. And I gotta say, I don't really appreciate it.
You know, it's a labor of labor, as we say around here. This is something that I'm just going to address the train.
Go Boilermakers.
I've got the cat is in the window. If I don't put him in the window, he's going to bother me. We made it through the last show with no, made it through. We just recorded the morning show. I'm going to throw everything out there and no noises. So that was good. That was your show and nothing happened. This being Buckeye Weekly, the train waited and boom, as soon as we start, here we go. So it's good to be back. Yes, the bold prediction show, Tom. At least this week, we've got more information and it's not going to be one of these tight games like last week or 2 weeks ago where you 52 yards rushing. Is that bold? Yes, for that week. But at least now we can get into some numbers here.
Yeah, we can definitely get into some numbers, and it does feel like we're getting a better sense for things. But still, this is, Maryland. Now the struggle is that Maryland hasn't played anyone. And yeah, they're unbeaten. But how much does that mean? And the answer is, I guess we'll find out on Saturday. But we have to record this show before Saturday. So there's the problem. So we'll see if we can figure it out.
Yeah, and rest assured, we will still try to game the system, each of us. But last week, Tom did win 2-1. He won because one of his bold predictions was that each team would try and fail a fourth down attempt. And lo and behold, that definitely happened, even with 11 men on the field, especially probably because, Tom, of the 11 men on the field. But let's go ahead and get this week started. Your honor.
All right. Let's start with this one. 4 different Ohio State football players catch a touchdown pass. And I specify football players because I started that sentence and just sort of said football players, not because I'm concerned that Taysom Chapman is going to come off the bench and score a touchdown. But 4 different Ohio State football players catch a touchdown pass on Saturday.
Does this include pick sixes? I'm going to allow it. I just want to know.
Sure. Well, I'll take it. I will. I didn't specify that, but since you did, I will accede to your demands. Now, this means you have to accede to my demands later. But yeah, I will. I will include that. That's fine. Don't say I'm not ever in a spirit to negotiate with you. I'm always happy to help, and that is a good clarification. Thank you very much.
I love how you gave ground so graciously there. I'm going to be furious if you win by 1 and it's because of a pick six. Boy, especially this is a travel week. So this is an important one to win. Sometimes I speak before I think. That's my problem.
Well, one of your problems. Well, all right, go ahead and give us yours so that I can make a problem for myself. Go ahead.
I'm predicting a bold prediction of something that has not happened since last October. Julian Fleming will score a touchdown.
We were talking before the show about the fact that the I hate it, the one where your immediate response is I hate it, are generally the ones where there's not much follow-up argument, because it's like I don't hate it because I can't make an argument against it. I hate it because I don't hate it because I can make a good argument against it. I hate it because I can't really make an argument against it, because even though there's extenuating factors there to some degree, but yeah, no, I have to allow that. And just let me tell you, I really don't care for it.
Julian Fleming this year is only averaging 8.3 yards per catch, 13 catches, 108 yards. Time for them to help him pick that up. All right, go ahead, Tom.
All right. So how about this one? Davison Igbinosun has more than one impact play, which we're defining as a tackle for loss, interception, pass broken up, quarterback hurry, forced fumble, or fumble recovery, and also 1 penalty.
I was going to add in the penalty. I had similar ones thinking in my mind, like Igbinosun and Denzel Burke will combine for at least 5 pass breakups and penalties, something like that. But yeah, one at least 2 impact plays.
I said more than 1. If you get credit for half of a tackle for loss or something like that, that's fine. Yeah, so more than 1 impact play and also 1 penalty.
Okay, any kind of penalty. If it's a sideline warning, that does.
If it's a sideline warning that is the first sideline warning where it is not penalized, it does not count. If it's a subsequent sideline warning, and the TV replay clearly shows it is him, then it does count.
However, if it's him both times, they cancel each other out.
No, if it's him both times, this goes for 3 points. If he gets called for 2 sideline warnings in one game, this goes for 3 points, regardless of the number of impact plays he has.
That is fair. I will say if the penalty has to be accepted.
Yeah. Okay. Because then it shows up in the box score. Yeah. All right. I will allow that modification.
All right. We're moving right along. This is good news. Now let's grind to a halt. My next bold prediction is that Ohio State will rush for at least 5.3 yards per carry. Now, they have not even hit 5 point. They've been at 4.6, 4.6, and 4.7 in their games against Power 5 teams. Maryland has not allowed anybody above like 3.5.
Allow me to stop you right here because one of mine is that the highest yards per carry for Ohio State is 6.18, and they go higher than that. So unless you'd like to outbid me at 6.18 yards per carry, this one's going to end up as mine.
All right, Tom.
Because I wasn't going to delineate between a Power 5 team and a non-Power 5 team on this one, Tony. I have too much respect for the listeners for that.
I've got so many tabs open here. So you're saying 6.2 yards, 6.19 yards per carry?
Yes, higher than 6.18 yards per carry.
Okay, I mean, I have to give you that because I don't want to put you out. So then I have to come up. I'll come back to that one. I will go with this one, Tom. Unless I'm going to say something, you're like, well, I have that one. Plus, I don't like the way you don't do any research and then you just, bid the opposite of $1 on the Price is Right. How about this one? So last week with Kyle McCord, I'm going to save him because you're not going to do that one. I'm going to say Tyleik Williams at least 1.5 tackles for loss. And that's something he has not done ever against a Power 5 opponent. He has not done that since 2021 against anybody.
Yeah. Okay. I have to allow that. That is a good find by you because that seems like he is trending in a direction where he's going to have more impact plays like that, and just based on getting more snaps and being a more impactful player when he's out there. But yeah, just based on the fact that it hasn't happened, I've got to give that one to you.
And I have to go again now.
Well, we both now have 3, correct? Or do you only have 2?
I only have 2 because you took mine with the 6.19 yards per carry. So I still have to come up with one. How about this one? Last week when you went with Kyle McCord throwing for between 267 and 284 for 3 points, I'm going to go with a 34-yard differential for 1 point of 257 to 291. Passing yards for Kyle McCord.
257 to 291 yards passing for Kyle McCord. Yeah, I feel like you found a loophole here in this. How many times has he been in that exact range? Let me find that before I agree to it. Let's see. Kyle McCord, so 257 to 291,
34 yards.
He's only done that twice in 4 games this season, Tony. So
no, he's only done it once.
He threw for 258 yards. Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. 318 is higher than 291. I stand corrected.
Barely did it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's a good one. Yeah. Sorry. I forgot how to count for a while, and that's on me.
That concerns me because I trust your counting quite a bit when we're doing this stuff. So now I'm gonna have to start double checking.
The echoes just woke up and I forgot how to count. I don't know. Sorry. I apologize. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. I mean, I think at this point we've established that a specific band of this is one of these like prop bets that they will offer, and it would be interesting to know what the odds are on that particular. Like, I don't think that would be super high. That would probably be one of the lower, ranges of passing yards. I think they generally offer them in smaller increments than that, but that would not surprise me if that was like a minus 250 or something like that on. I'm sorry, a plus 250 on plus 250 on a range that wide. But I mean, it is one of those things that has not happened consistently, and it's kind of a narrow range, so I kind of have to grudgingly allow it.
Yay!
All right, let's see. Tony, did you know that the Ohio State defense is not allowed a touchdown longer than 2 yards?
Oh no, Tom!
Did you know that? Dare. Not all season, Tony. No, this is frankly, this is almost a borderline 2-pointer in some ways, but Maryland scores a touchdown of between 17 and 34 yards. Tony, I will remind you that is more than 8 times the length of the longest touchdown Ohio State has allowed so far this year. And also there's a cap on that number. So, yeah, no. And again, once you start throwing the 17-34, once we get into the bold prediction numerology, you kind of have to allow it. This is one of those where it probably happens like 80% of, what percentage of games do you think that normally happens for Ohio State over the years? Like 60%, Ohio State opponents, this year, 0%, which, I mean, if you're trying to talk me into this being a 3-pointer, I mean, done, but.
No, I'm going to allow it. How rare is that actually over, say, last year? And last year was a different defense, but it just seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess that happened 4 or 5 times last year, probably. And there are years, I'm sure, when they were giving up many, many more touchdowns in, 2018 or something like that, where that probably happened more than that. But, I'm picking Maryland to maybe score 17-ish points. So you're only probably getting 2, maybe 3 cracks at it in terms of touchdowns they're scoring. And so this year, the fact that it hasn't happened anything close to that this year, I think is a little bit of a statistical anomaly, but we'll see. So far it hasn't happened. So that means extremely bold for me to predict that it will happen.
Yeah, I'm going to, of course, allow this. And so I'm okay with that. 17 to 34 yards. I'm just in offense. Or
you just told me to not say anything, and then you didn't say anything. So I'm not sure you understand how podcasts work.
I'm saying I'm not, because the last time I was like, well, what about? And you're like, okay, I will begrudgingly accept it. Is this just offense?
I didn't say just offense, and you said that you were going to allow it at that point. So I feel
I took the finger off the checker. You're right. Okay.
By Robert's Rules of Order, I feel like this is, and plus the 17 and 34, I think there's probably a lot of leeway that should be granted there, with respect to the history and traditions of this show.
Well, the history and traditions of this show has definitely earned all of the respect that it is given. I do think, I was thinking when we were talking just now a minute ago about how often this happens, what we should do in the future to make this an even longer show is present our bold predictions a day before. And then we have time to go and research and just nitpick. Well, we would just rename it to Well Actually instead of the Bold Predictions Show, because then I'd be like, Tom, over the course of the last 14 years, Ohio State has allowed, 60% of their games has featured a touchdown between 17 and 34 yards. I think that would be better for the listeners. I think that'd be a more entertaining show, a more knowledgeable show, a more data-driven show, Tom.
Yeah, but then we have to change the name of the show from Bold Predictions to Pedantic College Football Debate, which I don't know SEO-wise and YouTube search-wise if that would work as well. But, we could maybe A/B test it for a week or two and see how that goes.
Fair. Okay, my next one, Tom, Ohio State's longest reception that they've given up this year is 34 yards. That was to Max Tomczak with Cayman Martinez in coverage against Youngstown State. The other longest one was a 30-yarder against Western Kentucky. Or no, the longest was a 36-yarder. That was the Max Tomczak. They've had a 34-yarder and a 30-yarder. I'm saying Maryland has at least a 40-yard reception in this game. And if you want to know how many they've had this year, I can tell you that as well.
I would love to know how many they've had this year.
As I am very helpful in, and this isn't even about sabotaging myself. Long passing plays.
But by I can tell you how many they've had, I didn't realize you meant I can eventually tell you how many they've had. I thought you meant you had that information at your fingertips and it was going to help make your case.
Now, I could have told you a minute ago, but you were talking. They've had 6 this year in 5 games.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to do something they've done.
Well, if you would like, Tom, I will say, how about this? Ohio State will not give up a 40-yard reception to Maryland.
I've
been watching a lot of Saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a tremendous debate in my head because the problem is this feels like almost a coin flip, and Maryland has done this every single game. I will tell you what. I will allow you that Maryland either has a pass completion of longer than 44 yards or does not have a pass completion of 36 yards or longer. Dealer's choice.
Does not have a completion of 36 of longer than 36. Okay, I will take that.
Okay, does not have a pass completion of longer than 36 yards. Okay.
All right. See, we can get along as long as we are caught in a corner.
Of course, Tony. No one has done that against Ohio State this year at all, and you're protecting them not to do it. So, really, how bold is it? Is my question to you. I really should have made it 34 in the interest of staying true to.
We agreed. You took your finger off the checker.
We did. All right. We've been doing that way too much already, and I just looked over and we were at 17. This is not going to time up exactly with the podcast time, but I looked over and we were at 17 minutes and 34 seconds on the recording of this show. So I'm going to take that as a sign. A sign of what? I don't know. But let's see. I have 2 here. I'm going to go with another one on the defensive side of the ball. Talia Tagovailoa has only thrown 3 interceptions all season. I'm going to say there are 2 interceptions by Ohio State cornerbacks on Saturday. And that group includes Jordan Hancock. I know he's sort of a corner, he's sort of a safety. I'm lumping Jordan Hancock in with the corners. But 2 interceptions by Ohio State cornerbacks on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with this one. They're going to have more opportunities, which is why this is an agreeable. This is why you take a chance on this one, and it's something that Denzel Burke is looking forward to. I don't know if Davison Igbinosun is looking towards interceptions. I think he's just interested in hitting people. So that's where you have some trouble, Tom.
Mm-hmm. He's more interested in tackles for loss, pass breakups, quarterback hits, forced fumbles, forced recoveries, and accepted penalty taking. And if he gets an interception, that obviously counts too. But he tends to be looking to hit someone, and that has worked out just fine for him so far this year.
You know, I wonder if there'd ever be like an MVP where he would have a pick 6 to win you that bonus, that bold prediction, and then also 2 interceptions or whatever, the 2 big plays, and then Tom, to cap it off, the pick 6 touchdown, he gets a celebration penalty for his flag.
Yeah, there is a way he could hit 3 with if he's the second player to catch an interception and he runs it back for a touchdown, he could theoretically hit 3 of these things at once, which would be honestly, I don't want to say greatest moment in Ohio State football history, but I'm not saying that.
No, it would be up there. That's something I don't know how you enumerate it along the Bill Willis and the Troy Smith and all of those numbers up there. Just IGB crotch chop,
Why does it say 6 Igbinosun? It's like, well, son, sit down. Let me tell you the story of the greatest play in Ohio State football history. Holy Buckeye, I call it. It is Davison Igbinosun running back at pick 6. And it really helped me not sleep on the couch at Purdue.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So my final 1-pointer is there will be Ohio State players will have Ohio State players not named Marvin Emeka or Cade Stover will combine for at least 80 yards receiving.
Ohio State players not named Marvin Harrison, Emeka Egbuka, or Cade Stover will combine for 80 yards receiving. So we're talking about Joe Royer, G. Scott. We're talking about Carnell Tate. We're talking about Xavier Johnson. We're talking about Julian Fleming. We're talking about all of the running backs. How many times has that happened this year? Because I know that though you're taking the 3 top guys off the board, but if we're assuming Kyle McCord's going to throw for 280 yards, let's say, and we take I think Harrison and Egbuka and Stover are combined averaging. I mean, I can pull up the season stats here.
Combined, they are averaging 210 yards receiving, those 3.
210. So really,
So I'm looking at 290 yards, I guess, passing.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't feel super bold to me.
Well, give me a number.
Ohio State players other than them.
Do you want to make it an even 81?
I don't think that's an even number. We're back to, okay, the universe has reset itself. All right, so 34. I'm just going to do this here. 34 times. Well, 34 times.
That's over 100, though, Tom.
34 times 3 is 102. I think that would be okay. I mean, yeah, I think 102 is a good number there. Because if we're just, if you're just sort of expecting people to have slightly above their averages on a game where I think Ohio State's going to throw the ball a decent amount, I don't know if I consider that all that bold.
I thought 100 was a good, solid, easy number, but you have invoked the 1734 clause, and now I have to abide by that. So 102 yards receiving by everybody not named Marvin Emeka or Cade Stover, and that includes interception returns. Anyway,
no, that's not. No. I
can't have anything. Just a little bit of Davison Igbinosun on my side.
I'm trying to total up the numbers on averages from the other guys.
It's like 85.
32. Yeah. Okay. So you're okay. So clearly you were trying to get one over on me, and I have heroically prevented that. You getting one over on both me and the listeners. I do like you just openly admitting that, 100 is actually a good number. I just bid low because I knew you were going to bid me up, and you wouldn't overbid too much because you're a very reasonable person, very rational about all of these things, and I appreciate you saying that about me. But go ahead, please explain yourself.
Just because it's the average doesn't mean that's what they do each time. That just means they could have done more than that once and they haven't done it any of the other 3 times, Tom.
Oh, is that what that means? Okay. Well, thank you.
You want me to look at the mean?
Yeah, you are mean. That's I think that's I think we're fine. I think we've settled on a number that is mutually agreeable. Now, my multi-pointers here, I could see an argument for making either of these the 3-pointer. So I'm going to give you both of them.
All right.
And you can tell me which one you feel is more bold to be a 3-pointer, or maybe if you want to be reasonable, you could just call both of these 3-pointers. That's up to you. So the first one is the most passing yards allowed by Ohio State this year is 204. Maryland doubles that to 408 yards. That feels like it's probably the 3-pointer to me because they haven't even come close to that. And I really don't think it's going to happen. But I think that's probably more likely to be your choice for 3-pointer. However, the other one also has not happened against a Power 5 team since at least the 2021 season, or 21 season. I know what year it is eventually. So it did not happen against a Power 5 team at all last year, from what I could tell. Has not happened yet against a Power 5 team this year. It only happened against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Ohio State scores 2 touchdowns in the middle 8. So they did it against Western Kentucky, where Emeka Egbuka scored twice in the span of about 45 seconds right before halftime. Unless I missed a game, but my honest accounting of this is I went through the box scores very quickly before we were starting the show, and I could not find, unless I missed one, I could not find an example of Ohio State scoring 2 touchdowns against a Power 5 opponent in the middle 8, which is the last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second half.
And how bad, you say they didn't do that at all last year that you could see?
They did not. I went back and they did it against Toledo in a game where they scored 77 points or whatever it was, and they might have done it against Arkansas State, but they have not done it against a Power 5 team. Even in games where they scored a whole bunch of points, Iowa or someone like that, they didn't score 2 touchdowns in the middle 8. That requires you have to have the ball. You have to have the ball at a certain point of the game, and you really also probably have to get the ball to start the second half. So it requires a lot of stars to sort of align in order for that to happen.
And what was the first one?
Maryland doubles Ohio State's most passing yards allowed to 408 yards.
Okay, so Maryland throws for 408 yards. I will take that as the 3, and the other is the 2, because the 2 is doable, but there's just more chance there. It's kind of like the coin flip one, So let's see here. The 2 was they score a touchdown. I mean, you're asking them to score essentially on consecutive possessions, which is not outrageous, but it's kind of the 1734 yard, range finder thing here that you're incorporating. So
I just want to put this out into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
If Davison Igbinosun has a pick 6 early in the second half, it is possible he's the 4th Buckeye to catch a touchdown pass, including pick 6s. That could be his second impact play, and then he gets a penalty for celebrating. So that would be 2. That could be the second interception by an Ohio State cornerback, which would be 3, and then 2 touchdowns in the middle 8. That could be a 5-point play, Tony. Not since the days of Rock and Jock have I seen a 5-point play, and frankly, I think we're a little bit overdue.
Quite overdue, but let's just maybe hold off for a week or so. And so the 3-pointer was Maryland throws for 408 yards. Tom, do you know the last time Ohio State gave up 408 yards passing?
I am going to guess it has been a hot minute. Was it?
Oh, I have it here.
You do have it here?
Interesting. Georgia actually threw for 398 yards last year, but that's not 402 yards. It was actually, and Purdue threw for 386, so it wasn't them. Penn State 361. No, it was Tulsa in 2021, 428 yards passing.
Wow. Tulsa in 2021, because that was the game where Ohio State couldn't throw the ball at all, and it was the Travion Henderson game, and that was also the game where there were about 75,000 people in Ohio Stadium. Boy, that was, for a game of absolutely no consequence, a lot of stuff happened in that game. Holy smokes.
Tom, do you remember how bad the 2020 Ohio State secondary was that took them to the national championship game?
Yes, and especially because I remember the 2020 national championship game. So yes, I can answer that question. Yes, I do remember it.
Indiana threw for 491, Clemson threw for 400, and Alabama threw for 464.
Wow. Is that a lot?
It is so many. It is so much. All right. Let's see. My turn. My 2 and 3. Let me find them because I believe in them. All right. 2-pointer. I'm going to go back to the G. Scott Well. I say he will score a touchdown of at least 6 yards. So this isn't one of these goal line things. This is a little bit further than that.
That's practically outside the red zone. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, G Scott. Yeah, I like that you're specifying it for Ohio State. Yeah, like if G Scott scores a touchdown of 6 yards or more for Maryland, I will give you 5 points for that one. But yeah, 6 yards or more touchdown for G Scott in this game, 2 points. Yeah, that is perfectly allowable.
Now I was going to say for Ohio State, 6 yards is outside the red zone.
They're not running it, Tony. This is a pass.
Too soon. My 3-pointer, Tom, is that Chip Trayanum does something that he has not done for many, many years, and he rushes for at least 90 yards.
Chip Trayanum rushes for at least 90 yards. What did he have against Michigan last year? 88 or something like that? 84?
Yeah, it was like 80. I got it right here. It was 83. In 2021, he rushed for 89 against Washington State. In 2020, he had a 100-yard game, but that was a pandemic year, and that's not really something we're going back to. So basically more than he's rushed in any single game since the start of the 2021 season. And he's a backup. He's just a backup.
He is just a backup. This very much does not feel like a 3-pointer to me, but also I don't.
Do you want it to be a career high, which was 108?
If you want to give me 108, I will give you 108 for a career
Can we split
high.
the difference and make it 99? Or do we have to go to 102? I've answered my own question.
You know what? I'm not trying to be difficult here. I'm trying to come up with a genuinely agreeable number. I think 99. So more is, he has to have 99 or more, or he has to go over 99.
Let's say 99 or more, because I want that 1 yard, because I think Ohio State owes the universe a yard, and I'm afraid if I go with 100, they'll take it from me.
So Chip Trainum does the Eddie George 1995 Kickoff Classic, 99 yards. This is going to come up during the Heisman ceremony.
All right, Tom, what's the easy free bonus prediction you're going to give me?
Tony, I have great news. Now, this is going to be a little bit dramatic. You're going to have to wait till the second half to find out if this happens. But, Tony, Ohio State achieves at least one first down, gains a first down, does not get the ball, and that's a first down. They have to achieve a first down by going 10 yards or more in 4 plays or less, at least once in each half.
At least one. Oh, geez. Okay. And penalties will count.
I will allow it, just in the spirit of togetherness and, this is supposed to be the freebie, so I will allow you. But if the penalty is on Davison Igbinosun somehow, well, I guess it couldn't be. But even if it is, that one doesn't count.
Fair. My free bonus prediction for you, Travion Henderson has a rush of at least 2 yards in this game. And it could be first half or second half, third quarter, fourth quarter. It could happen. And if he somehow does not play, then you're just not going to get that bonus prediction. I'm sorry.
Travion Henderson must have at least one carry and has a rush of 2 yards.
I'll say 1 carry in each half.
Oh my, you are.
Yes.
Your benevolence knows no ends.
It sure doesn't. Actually, this show has come to an end, so it stops right here and will not go beyond this. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Always appreciate you guys watching and listening and putting up with so much of this show. You almost put up with as much as I do, and I know I put up with a lot. So I appreciate all of you guys out there. We both do. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And reminder to find us at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Find us at all of your podcast platforms of choice as well. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys later.